Coming live inside New Park, Kyogle. This is round 7 of the NRRRL for 2019. The NRRRL is proudly sponsored by Ladbrokes. Download the app today at either the Android or iTunes stores, or head over to ladbrokes.com.au for all your betting action, and of course, gamble responsibly. Dwayne Neville back with you here at Kyogle for another match day under lights on this election day for 2019. As we see the Marist brothers Rams are out in the paddock, we just now wait for the Kyogle Turkeys to occupy. With that being said, we'll get the tail of the tape between the two teams. And two new additions to the Kyogle Turkeys from last week's squad, and they're both newcomers in the likes of Lionel Johnson and Sam Saville from Burleigh Heads. They are both occupying the bench. For the rest of the squad, we have Shannon Walker there with Aaron Avery in the back line with the captain Sam Nicholson and Thomas McGrady. Brock Westerman completes the back line. In the halves, we have Gary Robertson, Blake Skinner, and in the forwards, we have Blake Davies, Jaden Harley, Dion Bianchetti, Joy Slater and Lachlan Crowder are the second rows, and they are locked in the scrum by Blake Olive. Completing the bench line is Joe Olive and Tyler Hunter. For the Marist brothers, we have Troy Murray and Marcus Hanaway in the back line with Evan Hawkins and Josh Patson. Aidan Haywood completes the back line with the likes of Paul O'Neill and Jacob Follett in the halves. Lockie Perrin, Mitch Slavin and Blake O'Connor in the front row. In the second row, we have Jacob Rose, Matt Tickle and Jake Hoban. And we must make note, we're at this stage, and we'll do our best to get it to you during the coverage, we are unable to get the reserves bench for the Marist brothers Rams at this stage, but we'll try and get that during the game. Joining me in commentary tonight is the Kyogle Turkeys secretary in Rob Lyons, and he's Rob, how's it feel to be on the call tonight?
Thank you, Dwayne, for having me on tonight. Looking forward to it. Should be a good night of football. Generally, a very good game between these two sides, with Marist brothers having the edge over Kyogle the last 4 years, so hopefully Kyogle will continue their winning ways and make it 5 in a row. And
you were just making mention of that. That's an interesting point you make there, Rob, is Marist brothers, as you mentioned, but Marist brothers Rams have had, I think it was about 5 straight on Kyogle in the past. I can see last time those two teams played last season in Lismore was a 50-4 drubbing. And you'd have to go back to about the likes of 2014 when Kyogle were last in the finals, where they got the upper hand.
Yeah, so hopefully our good form that, I shouldn't say our, trying to be neutral here, guys. So I apologise in advance for a little bit of bias.
But I must make note that Rob is actually a very late addition to the commentary box here tonight, and we're so glad he can sit here in the box with me and make a night of it. As we get underway of action here in round 7 at New Park and Kyogle, and it's Kyogle running left to right on under a full moon as well. And that is actually one of the players there from Marist Brothers. When we're trying,
we don't have the number 15 yet. Yep, we're still waiting for that to come back to us.
So that was taken up in the hit there by Lockie Perrin. So
looking forward to the battle tonight between Lockie Perrin and Dion Bonchetti, two former front rowers. So both Lockie's been a rep player in the past, and Dion, I think, is knocking on the door of it in the future. So it should be a good battle between those two.
So Kyogle coming into this one currently in third position with a 4-1 record. They are currently on a 4-game winning streak, and their last start win was right here 7 days ago on the live stream against Byron Bay, 28-16. And an interesting stat coming into this one, Rob, is that the magic number coming into this clash is 28 points. When the Kyogle Turkeys have scored 28 points, they win. The only win that Marist Brothers had was when they had to score 28 points, and they haven't done it since. So we're going to expect, well, if Marist Brothers are going to be into this one today, they're going to have to score plenty of tries.
Yes, hopefully Kygle's defence, which has been pretty solid the last couple of weeks, can hold on. So we've got Blake Skinner onto Blake Anderson, and they're well contained there by the Marist. Looks like the back rower, Jacob Rose.
So that's going to be played there by Skinner. The ball goes up there from Gary Roberts, and should be collected there off the wings. And he's just taking off the ball. This could be an early try. That's Brock Westerman. And they're picking up the momentum from last week. And within the first minute and a half here, it will be 4-0 for the Kyogle Turkeys.
Excellent start there for Kyogle. Unfortunate mistake by the Marist winger, I believe it was, Marcus Hanaway. And Brock Westerman was right in the right spot at the right time to score about 10 metres adjacent of the left upright.
So Brock Westerman is just took the words out of my mouth there, Rob. It was basically, he was my player to watch coming into this one. He's just, I first recognised him when he was played for the under-23s Northern Rivers Titans squad and scored an impressive try that day. So he once he's got that jersey, he knows when to go with it.
He was a late call-up. Got called up about a week from the first game for that under-23 squad, and he's made every post a winner and just keeps getting better and better each and every week. So hopefully his try scoring continue. I think that might be his 5th, maybe 6th try of the year. So,
and we'll just look that one up there, Rob, and that was as the kick is about to be taken. So that's actually, I think that's his 4th. He scored 2 here against Northern United. Of course, that was on the live stream as well as one against Ballina. And he's already looking to eclipse the 7 tries he scored last season.
Gary Roberts with a conversion. He's been kicking very well. He was the difference maker in the first live stream here at Kyogle, kicking the extra goal that made the difference between Northern United.
And the kick goes over as easy to like for Gary Roberts. Us now make the score 6 points to 0. Kyogle over Marist in the first couple of minutes here. As you can see there on the Ladbrokes scoreboard. Head over to ladbrokes.com.au for all your betting action. Gamble responsibly. So for me, too, Rob, for the Marist brothers, the player to watch for me is Josh Patson. He was his under-23s teammate of Brock Westerman. So last season he scored 11 tries, and I guess if the points are going to come, it's going to come from him, because in last year's campaign he actually scored 2 tries against Kyogle.
Yes, I remember that night. He had a very eventful night there, just kept making meters and scoring tries, so hopefully they can shut him down and be a big key for Kyogle going on and winning.
So it's going to be played out there by Harley.
Tyler Hunter must have been an early change or a late early change to the starting lineup with Tyler Hunter on at the moment.
So that's Skinner.
Blake Anderson.
Nice hit there by Anderson.
To Blake Davies, to Thomas McGrady.
Nicely taken there by McGrady. He's got numbers on the left. He has Aaron Avery, but I don't think he was unawares there. He couldn't quite see him in time. That's going to be Harley into the centre. Skinner gets it off to Roberts. Roberts will opposite go left. He does now. Into the hands of the captain, Sam Nicholson. And he's brought well down in the tackle there by Marcus Hanaway, who was also a late addition from last week. Kick goes across field, and there's the numbers there for... that could be well collected there by Aaron Avery. And
knock on.
No, I think it's going to be
called. Knock on by referee Richard Fleming.
Yeah, so...
Must have been a touch there by Thomas into the Marist player.
So, as Rob just made mention there, Richard Fleming is the man who's drawn an assignment in tonight's game, I must say. So, nicely taken in the tackle there by Blake Davies. So, Marist brothers...
Forcing back in the defence.
Marist brothers lucky to get off the hook in that occasion. They can't afford it in the matter of a few minutes to be 2 tries down early. Though we must make mention in the game here about a month ago, or 3 weeks ago now, that basically... and this is basically where this amazing run started for the Kyogle Turkeys, where they were 14 points down on 3 occasions, and then they came back to win. They haven't looked back ever since. So it just takes just something special like that to get the season started, and that's Marcus Hanaway getting put into touch. Let's see what's been called here. No, Richard Fleming's called a penalty for something there, Rob.
Just getting the Marist team through, so sorry I didn't actually see that. I'm just getting that side down, so we'll be giving it to you in a second.
So as play resumes now, so the Marist brothers will have they're about 45 metres away from the Kyogle line, so this is going to be taken up. Nicely taken the tackle there by Lachlan Crowther. Marist brothers coming in this one. They're about 1 win from 4 coming into this one.
So the 15 just tackled is Joel Jensen.
Joel Jensen, that is correct. So gets it in through the hands. That's going into now. That's Jake Hoban, 20 metres out now from the Kyogle line. Nice run there by Mitch Slavin. He goes well burrowing run by Mitch Slavin. He's so close to the line.
Up by Lachlan Crowther and Chenna Walker.
I think he's copped a bit of a knock in the tackle there, Rob.
Just while we've got a moment's stoppage here, the reserves for Marist Brothers today is Nathan Stewart in number 14, 15 Joel Jensen, 16 Chris King, and 17 Darryl Butcher.
So, of course, as you mentioned...
A couple of names from the past at the bottom of that bench, with Chris King and Darryl Butcher, long stalwarts of the Marist Brothers Club.
So as we're taking time off here, we might mention so the Kyogle Turkey in reserve grade, they just got up against Marist Brothers in the prelim.
Yeah, very good game between first and second on the table, and Kyogle were able to maintain their current run of form. They've played very well this year. They haven't lost a game, but they were docked some points for playing an unregistered player. So
that's fallen, gets it into their hands. That's Paul O'Neill, the captain. So as I mentioned, that reserve grade team, they were up until last week were 2.5 years undefeated, and now they've got a different kind of a record. They're now 2 losses straight. So it's one thing to have a record breaking it. They don't want to make a wrong habit of the other kind.
Fortunately, a bit of a rebuilding year this year for Marist Brothers, I would say. We're losing a number of players to both Ballina and Byron Bay.
Of course.
So we've got a few younger blokes out there, namely Lockie Perrin and Blake O'Connor and that, and Jacob Rose and Marcus Anaway and Joel Paston. So looking to build for a future and get the Marist Brothers back up to where they have been in previous past glories.
So that was Hawkins there in the first phase there, gets it in the hands of Mitch Slavin, back into the hands of Jack Hoban, and his absolute barraging, crunching run there by Jack Hoban. So this would be a perfect opportunity now for Marist Brothers to get back into this game at 6 points to nil down in the first 10 minutes. They're playing the short side, get well put pass back into that was Matt Tickle. So yeah, so you'd think going into this one the Kyogle would be heavy favourites, but when you're seeing players like this, it's going to be a very close game. I think he might have actually just claiming a try here. Marist Brothers are claiming try, and Richard Fleming has pointed to the spot. So we're now looking into the eyes of an even ball game at 6 points to 4.
A kick to come adjacent to the post, so number 15, Joel Jensen.
Joel Jensen was the try scorer there, number 15. And so with a kick right in front, should make this 6 points all. You can see that on the Ladbrokes scoreboard there. Trust you join the coverage wherever you may be watching. We kicked off a little bit later than had planned. We were playing for a 4:30 kickoff, but nevertheless we're on deck. I think most of the crowd here were probably waiting for a few people to finish voting for the day to get a full house here.
And the advantage of a little slightly kick-off is we've just got a nice, bright, even conditions. The sun was very, very stark there during the reserve grade game. Very bright on the eyes.
Or could it just be the full moon that's just over to the eastern side of the ground?
To the southern side.
So as the kick goes up, Daisy, you like there.
A successful conversion. So he takes the score on to Kyogle 6, Marist Brothers 6 on your Ladbrokes scoreboard. So once again, we thank Ladbrokes for jumping on board with the NRRRL.
So now this is now it's an even ball game. So for me, that first 7 out of the 10 minutes in this one was all momentum for the Kyogle Turkeys, which has basically been the story of their campaign for the last number of weeks. So be interesting to see what happens out of this. Going into this one, if you're going by just pure form, you'd think Kyogle would be the red hot favourites, but nevertheless, it's and the other thing I should mention about the Marist Brothers Rams too is whilst they haven't had the ideal start coming in their A-grade campaign, it's worth mentioning that their lower divisions have been, they're either first or they're tight. Well, the reserve grades now, Kyogle will now go from first and then Marist Brothers now second, but they were locked at on the top of the table.
Very good point. Their girls are the only side in all 4 grades to still be undefeated. In every other grade, we have sides that have suffered a loss. So for their girls to still be undefeated and played fairly impressively earlier today.
And going into this one too, Marist Brothers under 18s were on top of the ladder.
They were on top, and another impressive performance. I think they were just short of 40 from memory.
Okay. So as we get now back to live action, this is going to be Jacob Folland, sends that one downtown.
Fortunately, he's kicked it straight down to Brock Westerman. Let's see how Brock returns. He's got rid of one.
That was Marcus Hanaway that just slid off the body there of Brock Westerman, and they're claiming a knock on, and there you go. So it'll be Marist Brothers now to have a scrum feed about 20 metres out from the Kyogle Turkeys line.
Perfect opportunity here for Marist to consolidate and get ahead. As you were mentioning, if we went on form, then this should be a bit of a comfortable win for Kyogle, but Kyogle, as we mentioned earlier at the start, have always struggled against Marist Brothers, and that's the reason why we play the game. If we went on paper, there'd be no need for us to be here. So
Okay, and
anybody can win any day of the week.
And that's it. And that's most certainly true. I mean, you look at score lines, like as I mentioned, it was, 50 points to 4 when these two teams last time played. I'll rattle off a couple of more. There was 36-4 in 2016, and it's 62-12.
Oh, bit of a very short ball on the line, and unfortunately been hit in the tackle and lost, and no advantage there. So play on will have to go to Kyogle, I'm guessing. We'll wait to see the direction from referee Richmond Fleming. Yes, he's pointing Kyogle's way. So it'll be scrum feed for Kyogle on about their 20 by the looks of that.
So, as I was just about to mention, it was you had the likes of scores like 36-4, 62-12 in 2016. 2015 was 56-24. And then, of course, there was that gap in 2014 where Kyogle won in straight sets. And in 2013, it was a score 46-6. So you'd think that would be the one thing going into this game for the Marist brothers, where they know they've got the history on their backs, and despite what the tables say, it's basically going to be, I guess, they almost make it an even ball game just based on that. So we get back to live action. That's Brock Westerman there.
Westerman there, good solid run.
It's going to be played by dummy half there by Blake Skinner.
Down Bonchetti, who's probably one of the form front rowers in the comp at the moment, but regularly playing nearly close to 80 minutes every week. So he's worked very hard in the off-season on his fitness, and he's reaping the benefits early this year. So that was knock on there. Knocked it on into the Marist players. So unfortunately, Kyogle, a bit like they were against Evans Head a couple of weeks ago. Viewers wouldn't have seen that game, but they were very scrappy, a lot of lost ball, and against this Marist Brothers side, coached by Michael Woods, you can't afford to do that. They're a well-drilled side, and they will eventually make you pay for any mistakes that you make.
So this is now going to be Marist Brothers to have it about just
shy of the halfway. Actually on the halfway.
So nicely taken in the run there by Josh Patson. He's got about 2 plays of it. He's absolutely spilt that there, Patson. And they're just going to delay play by just booting it away. So
very good cover tackle there by Aaron Avery, and Shannon Walker drove in. Aaron's been a very pleasant pickup for Kyogle this year. Came to the side just as a top-up numbers player, and had a ripping off-season and forced his way into the A-grade side, and he's been there ever since round 1.
And it's an interesting fact you mentioned that, Rob, because he originally played his football there for the Casino Cougars, and last season he was playing for Tweed Coast Raiders. So that's an interesting fact to make, and there's a few other pickups along the way too. So as we get back now into action, this is now Blake Skinner gets into the hands of Shannon Walker. Here's a stat I was thinking on the drive over here, Rob, that every time, well, I've called about 4 of Shannon Walker's games now, including the one semi-final that he played in, I believe it was against Wollumba. And each time he's had a live stream camera on him, he has scored. He scored last week and scored a few weeks ago, so that might be a little bit of an omen there for Shannon Walker. So
I'm sure a lot of people have seen the highlights reel of Shannon for his days back in Tweed Coast Raiders and playing for the Rugby Sevens. And Brock Westerman there just pulled up probably about the 20 by the look. Oh no, it'd be the 30.
So this will be Nicholson now, the captain, gets it up for Gary Roberts. Nice big high spiraling bomb. And it's going to be greeted there by Try Murray. Oh, that should be a double knock on.
Should be a double knock on. Let's see what Richard Fleming calls.
And Try Murray there.
No, he hasn't called a knock on against Murray.
So.
Oh no, they've given the ball to Harley, Jaden Harley. So looks like it'll be a Kyogle scrum.
Yep, so that was Try Murray there. He had his eyes for it, and I just think the moonlight there, or the lights underneath him might have just got into his eyes just that one bit and just knocked that just a bit forward. So this will be now a perfect opportunity for Kyogle Turkeys to get the momentum back into this game. So this is going to now be played by Blake Skinner. For me, he was probably the player of the game last week there, Rob. As they're playing on the short side, this is Brock Westerman already looking to add a double, but it's going to be now played there by Sam Nicholson, the captain, 10 metres out on the second phase. Into the hands there, that is Lachlan Crowther. He's met about 3 or 4 Marist Brothers players there in defence. This will be now played by Harley on the third phase. Gets it into the hands now of Skinner. Into the hands of Roberts. Into the hands now of McGrady. He had numbers on his right there, McGrady. He's going to go himself.
He's going to go himself.
And, he's just going to be slammed into the tackle.
They are short on the side. The defence has scrabbled, so they've gone the other way. A couple of players in the road. Blake Anderson now.
So this is going to be taken up by Blake Anderson. So this should be the 5th and last. They're playing on the short side. Nice little pass into Thomas McGrady in the corner. He was keen for it a couple of plays back, but he eventually got the job done in the corner there. Now it'll be advantage again to the Kyogle Turkeys at 10 points to 6 with a kick to come.
And Tom, very much like Ross Westerman, has scored multiple tries this year. Remember his memorable try that set up the chance for that winning
against Northern United.
I watched it from the other angle, and it looked like a decent try, but then I watched it from the camera later in the week, and he's beaten about 6 blokes. He had no right to score that one, and then again he was in the right place at the right time and has crossed for yet another try.
And I think there's a lot of memorabilia that's going to be made from that game there, Rob. I mean, for one, I said there's going to be a statue.
You have got a bit of a cult following in this town for your call of that very much game.
Has the T-shirts been printed yet?
I don't know.
The memes?
Someone's silly not to jump on board.
Yeah. If anyone's selling Are You Kidding Me shirts, I'll buy a dozen. And we'll keep this economy going in this town of Kyogle.
And just a little bit of a shout out. The live stream going everywhere. We've got someone in Leeds, England, watching.
Really?
Jacob Skinner, a former Kyogle Turkeys player living over in Leeds, the brother of halfback Blake. He is watching live from Leeds, England at the moment.
There you go. So what time is it over in the UK at the moment?
It would be early morning.
They're about 10 hours behind. Yeah. So what is it, 5 o'clock? We're about 20 to 6 local time here. So that would be about, it'd be in the wee hours in the morning, surely. So it'd be about, what, 6 a.m. or so? It'd be
very early in the morning. Too early for me.
Probably, and it's what is it, spring over there in the UK? So, but you'd think it'd still be about as colder than what it is here, surely. Especially up in the northern part of the UK.
Gary Roberts is
just
missed. Just played the post.
So we're
kept this interest there for a long time, but just missed.
So we're about 19 minutes in here, as you can see. Yep. It is now 10 points to 6 there in favour of the Kyogle Turkeys here at New Park and Kyogle. So yeah, speaking of so he'll be most potentially be waking up to a new Prime Minister if the opinion polls point the way they do. Nevertheless, so we'll get back to the actual serious stuff here.
Slaven sends it down into the Turkeys goal line, and Dion Bonchetti will run it back to the Marist defence.
And he's met there.
Good solid hit, but bounced off and still continuing to move.
So that was nicely involved there by Joel Jetson. So there's a bit of protest there from the Kyogle Turkeys, but it's still going to be played on. So they're about on the second phase, 20 metres out, about 10 inside field. It's going to be now taken up by
Blake Anderson. Yep, Blake coming back to Kyogle this year after a long career with the Tweed Seagulls and a bit of the old Toyota Cup. And just tried to force the issue there. No, play on. Play on. Might have been a knock on, but you've got to play it by the whistle, so we will play on. And Blake Anderson, back to my point, Blake's had a long career in the Toyota Cup with the Titans and then on to Tweed Seagulls, so it's great to have Blake coming back to his old home club.
Oh, that kick just a bit. Let's see what comes out of this. And it's well collected by Brock Westman. I'm not sure if that was played at, but we'll see what Richard Fleming calls there.
I think it'll be a double knock-on by the looks.
Yeah, and that's well picked up there by Richard. So
no advantage, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it'll be a scrum feed to the Turkeys.
So unfortunately for Marcus, that's the second one he's put down tonight. So I think Kyogle might have found where to kick that kicks to. So it's unfortunate to have a night like that.
So as the scrum goes down about 20 metres out now from the Marist Brothers line. So whilst Marist Brothers have been looking pretty brave in the first 15 of the 20 minutes of this thus far, it's just that Kyogle, well, not with passes like that.
No, not much of communication on that one.
I'm about to say that they've played a brave game. That's a nice little dummy run there by Gary Roberts. Gets it in, brings it inside field.
Lachlan Crowder.
Nicely taken up there by Lachlan Crowder. So this will be Jaden Harley to play from dummy half on the third phase into the hands of Skinner. Man, nice little pass back inside field to Tyler Hunter. So they're just barraging up the line now, the Turkeys. I can feel another try is potentially coming. Gets in the hands of Skinner. Skinner goes himself, but he's...
Well done by Marist Brothers. It was going to be out the backboard of Blake Davies, but they rushed up on the outside and cut down the options for Blake.
So nice little pass inside there by Lachlan Crouter. So this should be the 5th and last, and it is.
Yep, 5th and last. Let's see what they do, whether they'll run it or a little grabber.
Little short side player there by Harley. Brings it back into Roberts. Roberts should go himself. Kick goes across field. And there's Aaron Avery. Every day of the week, Avery.
Get it down.
And Aaron Avery read that kick well. He had no defenders there to have to deal with, and has extended this lead for the Kyogle Turkeys. And now you can see there on the Ladbrokes
scoreboard. Wait, he's called time off. Just having a chat. I'm pretty sure the touch is in the in goal, so when they're in the in goal, it's generally a try.
So could this be a potential offside in front of the kicker?
That's the only reason why it couldn't be, but generally they stay out of the in goal. In the past, you've seen them stay out, but I think this is going to be a try.
Should be a try.
Yep. It's going to be a try.
Yep, Richard Fleming should point the spot and does. 14 points to 6, Kyle Turkeys over the Marist Brothers Rams. And he's going to have a chat to one of the Marist Brothers players.
Just having a chat to Captain Paul O'Neill. But Aaron Avery's been a great picker. He's one of those blokes who you'd just like to have an extra 10, 20 kilos on. He's tough as nails. There was a massive hit here he copped a couple of weeks ago, but he got back up and made the next 3 tackles. So we'd love to see him put on a couple of extra kilos just because he throws his body kamikaze style. But it's been a great addition to the Kyogle side and rewarded there with 2 points.
So, Rob, as I was about to mention, last year the Kyogle Turks, they finished, what was it, 8th last year, I think it was?
Yeah, 8th last year.
So, obviously, you've mentioned there's been a change in personnel. So, what did you have to look for certain players and certain lines? Or were you just bringing I noticed the likes of Shannon Walker, he played his footy here before, he went to Coogin. So, were you looking just to fill the gap, or were you bringing some of the band back together, so to speak?
A little bit of A and B, like Blake Anderson, who's a local junior, has wanted to come back, and tonight you haven't seen him yet, but Sam Saville, former captain of the Tweed Seagulls, is on the bench, and he will be coming back. So there's 2 Kyogle juniors who actually have never played A grade on this field. They were picked up as 16-year-olds to join the Titans development setup. So for them to come back with Shannon Walker as well, and then plus got a new coach, Shane Robinson, who was involved with the Tweed Raiders last year. He was the under-18s coach, so he's brought a couple of those boys with him along the way.
And one of those players being, I believe it was Eddie O'Connor, who was the try scorer last week.
Eddie is out of today's action.
I noticed that, so any particular reason he might be out? Or?
I didn't get to talk to Robbo to find out exactly why he wasn't listed. He trained Thursday night and seemed okay, so we'll have to wait and see.
That's a very impressive kick there from Gary Roberts, and adds the extras. And now the score will be 16 points to 6. The Kyogle Turkeys over Marist Brothers Rams here at New Park and Kyogle on, not as cool Saturday night as it was 7 days ago.
Much better conditions for you tonight, Wayne.
It was only 1 hoodie I'm wearing at the moment, not 2. As you can see there, 18 degrees and a little bit of a breeze at 7-kilometre winds at the southeast. So yeah, I'm only wearing the 1 hoodie tonight. So
she's been a bit of Melbourne weather here at Kyogle. Round 1 against Ballina, we were playing in 39 degrees.
Yeah, we can put it that way, yeah.
That was nice and fun, and then we went down to 30, and other than the northern game, and then last week we were down near the single digits. So.
And look, are the rumours true? Does it really snow out here in July?
Not quite snow, but it does get very icy in the morning.
Yeah. I tell you what, my girlfriend who actually came last week, she couldn't wait to get back to the north side of Gold Coast. So it was we had the heaters jacked up all the way heading back to the north side of Goldie. But nevertheless, she's been. If you're watching now, there, Steph, I hope you. She's driving to Byron later, so just a bit of a shameless shout out to the missus. So she'll probably have the warm car heading back down the M1. Then nevertheless, we'll get back to the live action. So
Lachlan Crouter running it up.
Taken in the tackle there by Jacob Rose.
They're on their 40, it'd be close to the 5. Yes, it is the 5th.
So this is Harley into there. It's going to be kicked by Skinner.
Little edge. And taken by Marcus. So good for Marcus to get his confidence up.
Nice.
With a grab.
Nice little captain's effort there in defence there by Sam Nicholson. He had the help there with Jai Slater. For me also, Jai Slater was one of those influential players for the Turkeys last week. But for me, I think that the work where it mainly got done, and Jaden Harley played an impressive game, don't get me wrong, but when Joe Olive came out in the last 20 minutes and really moved the team around for the Turkeys, that was good night Irene for the Byron Bay Red Devils as far as trying to keep up an attack.
It's been a very good mix because they both offer varying things. Jaden's probably the better defender out of the two, but as you did mention, Joe just gives you that little bit of an extra spark. Joe's having his first year in the hooker position. He's been a 5'8" most of his life. Him and Blake Skinner were being the half and 5'8" combination for the Turkeys Junior League for many a year. Here goes Shannon Walker with making a gap.
Nice.
Oh, just got hit and they've contained him.
So that was Shannon Walker. That's going to be played there from dummy half.
Tackled there by Mitch Slavin and he's in again. Have a good tackle there by Mitch.
So that is Matt Tickle involved in the tackle there with the likes of, I think that's Evan Hawkins in defence. They're just out, he brings it inside 40 and it's still inside their own half of field, the Kyogle Turkeys.
Might have been Sam Saville. His first game on this field since he was 16, so for 12 years, his first game on this oval.
So this is going to be now played there by Harley.
There's a loss and
it's interesting.
Knock on.
So yeah, that's going to be, yeah, you can see the high fives there by Marist brothers. So bit of a silly area there by the Turkeys.
Couldn't really see if there was a hand from our vantage point, but the way Kyogle have been handling it sometimes this year probably has been just a drop.
So yeah, for me though, like it's like I said last week that the referee's got a better view than any of us. So we want to iterate the hard job that these referees do indeed do. And I mean, Joshy Golan had a pretty impressive game last week. So they don't get credit enough. So without
them, we wouldn't be out here.
We wouldn't be out here without no footy. So we get back into
especially whoever's doing the far touchline for us. We're on the western side to the eastern side where the clubhouse is. I wouldn't love to be Josh Golan at the moment, being the touchy running that line. Very vocal Kyogle supporters. And break here by the number 11, Jacob Rose.
So that is Jacob Rose. It's going to be played there by Mitch Slavin. Nice play run by dummy half by Slavin. Does well to get about 15 metres on the fly. So we're about 12 minutes and change into the first half if you just joined us. And that's going to be a penalty now for the Marist brothers, Rams. And
they'd pushed their luck on the previous tackle with the holding down. And he's been penalised this time in that tackle. Tap and go quickly.
So it's going to be Jake.
Straight on to Jake Hoban, the lock.
So this is Hoban. Going to be now played there by Mitch Slavin on the short side.
On to Forlant.
Forlant into the hands.
Back for
try Murray. Ooh, little tad high there for me. Penalty called there, and fair enough.
Penalty sufficient. Don't need anything more than that. Just a bit of a stray arm.
So now this is going to be played here by Mitch Slavin.
The Turkeys want to put in a good defensive effort here. We're probably 10 minutes, a little bit over than 10 minutes and change left in the half, and you don't want to, you've built a little bit of a lead, you don't want Marist coming back into it, so they'll be hoping to lift.
So this is now Blake.
So that's Blake O'Connor.
Blake O'Connor, this will be now on the third phase, going to be Slavin. And goes himself, Slavin passes inside to the, brings it back into
Number
the side
12,
of
Matt Tickle. That's a Jacob Rose.
That is Jacob Rose. So this is now, for me, I think this might be the fourth phase, so that's going to go into Slavin. Goes himself, there's a little gap there for Slavin. Kyogle Turkey should know better than give such a big gap there for the likes of Mitchell Slavin. He will feed it for every day of the week. Gets it onto the short side, into the hands of the captain, Paul O'Neill. Oh dear, that was Evan Hawkins. If that spilt that one, he'd love to have that one again there, Evan Hawkins.
Not the side of the football field you want to be doing that. Right in front of the majority of the Turkey supporters here. Not the place to be making errors.
And I was just about to say that, and we just got caught up in the moment there, but I think Marist Brothers needs to be that team where they're given a set of 20 metres out, they need to convert this to points, because I don't know how else they're going to be able to break this defence of the Kyogle Turkeys.
Yeah, especially because they have had that, as we've mentioned earlier, a little bit of a rough start. Just need to build that confidence that when you are attacking, that you can cross and make points. So you can't, every opportunity you get, you've got to capitalise on. So they'll be ruining that opportunity there. They had the man overlap. So unfortunately, they've knocked it on, and it'll be Kyogle's ball, and they'll see how they work out through Aaron Avery.
So, of course, going into next week, the beef week, the traditional beef week game between Casino with Kyogle will be playing their first. They'll be away next week.
They're away.
Yeah, so that follows, as we can see a penalty there by the Kyogle Turkeys. So then the Kyogle Turkeys, they have two lots of back-to-back games heading into the latter part of the season. Then I believe the Turkeys are on the road after that. So.
Yeah, so it should be a very good stretch here. We've got a bogey team in Marist who we've had a tough time against. And then the big local derby between Casino, which are always fiery clashes. So I'm guessing it'll be no different with it being beef week next week.
So
and then Kyogle are up to Moolumbar, who are co-leaders with Kyogle on top of the rack. They face two teams that are equal on wins with them going into this round in the next 2 weeks.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I think that next week's got a bit of a rivalry flavour to it, because Byron...
It'd be more than a rivalry, I'd call Kyogle and Casino.
I was about to mention Byron versus Ballina next week, and I think Northern United are playing Marist next week.
Okay, so it might be a little bit of a rivalry round.
Bit of a derby round as of such.
But no, calling Kyogle versus Casino rivalry, probably a bit of an understatement.
Okay, fair enough. So
there's no love lost between both sides,
So as we just get back to the live action here, so this will be now a line dropout now for the Marist brothers.
Brilliant grubber there by Gary Roberts to force it in gold, and Marist did the smart thing and made sure they got it out. I don't get in rugby league how they try to kick it out. Just take it out. It's still a dropout no matter what. So you're better off just forcing it and not knocking it on than trying to kick it out like they do in the NRRRL and missing it and making themselves look like
and
fools.
We'll just iterate on the beef week, and obviously just to inform the viewers if they're not too familiar about it. So that fixture used to be a Thursday night game.
Used to be a Thursday night.
Why'd they change it?
With the girls coming in, the ladies' league tag game, it just meant your A grade wouldn't be kicking off till about 10:30.
That's fair enough.
And advantage for Casino, they've got the public holiday with beef week on the Friday. Whereas
really, it's a public holiday, is it?
Not an official one. But
okay.
A lot of places don't have. A lot of places have the day off. They got the races.
Yeah, fair enough.
Beef week races on. So, whereas Kyogle get home about 11 o'clock, and we've all got to front up to work.
And so you're iterating that they have the stacks of permission slips to get off work.
Yes.
The doctor certificates on hand.
I went to school at St Mary's there in Casino, and often had Brock went very close. And often would, especially in the last couple of years when you're a little bit older, found a way to end up at the races later that Friday afternoon.
I wouldn't know that living on the seaside. So, but nevertheless, so we get back to live action now. This will be, I think that was just a set.
I think it's just a changeover.
Yeah, just a changeover. So this will be.
Brock Westerman dove for the corner, but was pulled up. Looks probably about 5 metres short. But not bad field pressing to start from. Now they're just looking to isolate them down there. We've got about 8 minutes on the official clock. So in the first half remaining. So brothers would really like to get out of this territory, get down the other end, and try and reduce the deficit.
So that was Josh Patson involved in the tackle. Kyogle Turkey's doing well in defence, so absolutely keep the Marist brothers around well deep inside their own 40. So this is the fourth phase now. It's going to be played off there by Slave and gets it into the hands of, I believe that to be...
Good driving defence there by Joyce Slater and
Blake Anderson as well, yes. So they can't even get it to the 40 at the moment, the Marist brothers round. So this is it's all coming down to defence. But
brilliant run there by Mitch Slavin.
Well played there by Mitch Slavin.
And Mitch is one who has come from that dominating reserve grade side. He was the hooker for many years. Unfortunately, a terrible bounce.
Yeah, so I do recall that now that you mentioned that, Rob, that I do recall calling in the final series last year when Mitch Slavin in that dominant run that they had. So as I said, they didn't lose. And I think their last loss before this season, of course, they went down to Ballina last week in a bit of an upset, but it was a grand final against Coogin, I think.
Yes.
Remember? Yeah. So and I couldn't even tell you when the last time they lost 2 straight.
No.
So nevertheless, we'll get back to action here. This is going to be played here by Harley.
Lachlan Crowder running up.
And he's well taken in the tackle there with that player we just mentioned there.
Lachlan with the new fashion accessory this week after a bit of a cut to the top of the head last week.
Okay.
This is the new signing for the week, Lionel Johnson. He's played a bit of second division
up in Brisbane.
In not quite Q-cut, the level underneath.
Yeah, so I think he was playing for Fortitude Valley. I was doing my research on him last night. So he's also an Grafton, South Grafton junior as well.
Yeah, and spent a little bit of time with Lower Clarence Magpies. So
of course.
So from the lower end of this area.
So that is the man himself there, Lionel Johnson.
Yep. Offload to Thomas McGrady.
Into McGrady. He's got Shannon Walker on the left. It's into the head of Shannon Walker onto the post. And that omen I just mentioned about 10 minutes ago was still ringing true. Shannon Walker has got himself on the score sheet and has extended this lead for the Kyogle Turkeys and now making the score 20 points to 6 with a kick to come, as you can see there on the Ladbrokes scoreboard.
Brilliant work there by Lionel Johnson, just getting a bit of second phase happening, and then on to Thomas McGrady, who in turn delivered the money ball to Shannon Walker to not stroll, but to make it comfortably underneath the post.
So I can't say I'm 100% sure there. I was looking. I might have to even look at this just for the sake of it. But I don't think Shannon Walker has actually scored unless there's a camera in front of him. But he scores every time there is one in front of him, and I'm on the box with him. So
yeah, it's very tough to.
That's a very strange omen. So, but nevertheless, is what it is.
Might have to get you out here more often. No, but the Turkeys are doing what they need to do. They've got off to the dream start, especially in this game, but also this season. Because as you know, this is about the third game you've been here for, so we've got a heavy. The Turkeys have got a heavy home schedule to start with, so they need to build that bit of a momentum when they're finishing. I think their A-grade side played at home once in the last 6 weeks.
And despite that, I was looking through your the Kyogle Turkey schedule. Even though that you guys, the Turkeys are away, it's I think. You've already done it once against Evans Head. I think you only see the Seaside one other time this year. I think Coogin, and then you're in Lismore a couple of times, and then you got Wollumbar, and then so you still stay in the inland. So it's not like you're exactly, in real foreign territory.
Balliner's the only time that we see the Seaside.
Yeah. So as Gary Roberts sends that over, thus now making the score.
Successfully converts to make it 22-6 on your Ladbrokes scorecard, on your scoreboard.
Okay, so ladbrokes.com.au for all the latest betting action. And if you prefer the smartphones, you'd go over to your type of phone, Android or iPhone stores. Download the app today, and of course, gamble responsibly if you do go down that road.
Wonder how many people today just was having a look through the form guide earlier today, and a little sneaky $216 he got up in Adelaide today. So wonder how many of our Ladbrokes customers would have been on top of that.
And so, of course, it's being 6 o'clock now on the button. The election has closed.
Voting is closed.
So don't go anywhere. That's going to be a late night in the election. So stay away from the electric colours. Stay with us for a little bit longer.
The results not coming, so you might as well stay with us through the final 3.5 minutes of this game, and then we've got another 40 minutes to go after that.
Of course. So as we go into the final seconds here at New Park and Kyogle for the first half of action, that's going to be taken there by Jacob Follen in the tackle, as well as the likes of Jacob Rose. This is going to be Harley to play it into the hands now of Blake Anderson. Does well to get inside the half of the Marist brothers. And now this will be I thought that was beckoning to be a penalty. I just think you grabbed on him for a bit too long there, Rob. So down, this is going to be Roberts again, the extra metre. So another try is going to be very appetising here for the Kyogle Turkeys. So they're about 10 metres out from the Marist Brothers line. It was well taken in the kick there by Carrie Roberts.
Marist Brothers will really want to hold off. We've got about 2 to 3 minutes remaining. So you don't want to let points in. So Marist will be digging deep. And they're slowing down the ball. Surely they're held. Yes, they're all getting off.
And
got to be a penalty soon.
I think that's Daryl Butcher there.
It is Daryl Butcher.
Yeah, he was an ex-Byron Bay Red Devil. I recall seeing him play last year.
He had 1 year at Byron Bay after multiple years with...
He's like the prodigal son of the Marist brothers. So this is going to be Crowter. And he's just crunching the tackle by, like we just mentioned there, Butcher into the hands of Harley.
Roberts.
That's Roberts. Nice pass to the captain, Sam Nicholson.
Dropped it.
And I don't think they're going to get the extra points.
So that'll take a scrum. We'll set a scrum with about 2 minutes to remain. So probably only got about one more set. Maybe Kyogle may have a couple of tackles, but it'll be mainly Morris will be the last chance to score. And it'd be an excellent opportunity for Morris. Great way to finish the half if they're able to cross in the dying moments.
So this will be now going to be played here by Jacob Forlent. And they're about 15.
Paul O'Neill feeding the scrum.
Sorry, Paul O'Neill. So it's going to be taken in the tackle there. That is Gary Roberts. And nice drive and back tackle there with the likes of also Blake Anderson.
Oh, they've caught him held, so he can come forward just that little bit.
And so I think that's Butcher getting involved there, and it's I think there's not really any urgency for the Marist brothers. They just want to get the sheds and not have no more damage done to them, basically. So
surprised to see Daryl out there. I was talking to Daryl. He's the Marist brothers under-18s coach for the year, and I said, "Are you having your under day?" And he said, "I hope."
Reserve grade too.
He said, "I hope not." So
he played reserve grader too.
From going from "I hope not" that I'm not playing, there does look like there is a bit of a cut from our
bit
screen.
Of a scratch. So he'll dare say go off for a blood bin. This is going to be slaving into the hands of Folland. Folland just does a little hit and spin. He's just absolutely bowled over there by Jai Slater. Fifth and last, Tigers have done well to keep them inside their own half. So this is going to be Slave and sends that kick up, and there's Chasers going for it. But it's just going to be well read there by the like. So I think that's Tom McGrady there. Does well to get about 40 metres on the fly there, Tom McGrady. And so this should be the last play coming into this one, into the first half. This is going to be now taken up by Aaron Avery. He's going to be smashed there by Try Murray. We're going to hear the hooter go off, and that should all be it for the first half here in Kyogle. So well played there by the Kyogle Turkeys, but the Marist brothers Rams started really, really well, and they just kind of lost their groove a bit there for me, Rob.
Yeah, just missing. Not sure. I've only seen bits and pieces of their attacking games this year, and whether they're just missing one or two key contributors that they just lack that little bit of polish. They're getting there, but just missing that postage and making the mistakes, and Kyogle have capitalised on those mistakes.
And funny you did mention that. There is a player, though, Jake Petty, who they picked up from Ballina.
Jake Petty is a very big out.
And he's not there as well. So what do the teams have to do to take into the second half there, Rob?
Yeah, well, Kyogle just want to continue on completing sets and playing the football that they're playing. It's built them a 22-6 lead, so they won't want to be doing too much differing from that. But as we saw the first time we were here, no lead is safe. So they won't count their chickens before they hatch. And Marist brothers, with people like Josh Patson and Marcus Henaway, Evan Hawkins, have got enough attacking flair out there that will cause Kyogle trouble. So they'll have to keep on plan with what they've been doing with the first half.
So it's half-time here at New Park and Kyogle. As you can see on the Ladbrokes scoreboard, it's Kyogle Turkeys 22, Marist Brothers Rams 6. Download the app today or head to ladbrokes.com.au for all your betting action. Gamble responsibly. Myself and Rob will be back in about 10 minutes' time for the second half of action. Dwayne Neville and Rob Lyon back here with you at the New Park here in Kyogle for the second half of action. As you can see on the Ladbrokes scoreboard, it is Kyogle Turkeys 22 to Marist Brothers Rams 6. So, as we just heard over the PA there, Rob, we were mentioning Daryl Butcher in the first half. This is actually a milestone for him. Is that why he's playing today?
Not quite sure. I think it might have been a bit of a joke between Daryl and the ground announcer.
All right. Well,
500. I thought I heard 513, and Daryl's played a few years, but it'd be very tough to play that many A-grade games. But must commend Daryl. He lost a lot of weight the last couple of years and looks fantastic. So, well done, Daryl, on that.
So, as you can see there, the Marist Brothers Rams are going to be running left to right on your screen. And so it's so 18, it says there on the bottom there on the graphic there, 18 degrees. Doesn't feel like 18 degrees to me.
No,
it feels a bit more like 14.
It's a little bit lower, but a bit like last week too.
So is this what we're going by Kyogle temperatures here? Is this what 18 degrees to the inland is? Because 18 degrees in Byron Bay, that would be like a hot, sunny summer's day.
Yeah, I still don't know how it's 18. Baffles me.
Nevertheless, as we about to resume action there, Richard Fleming will get us underway in the second half. Under lights here for the second consecutive week in NRRRL action, sponsored by Ladbrokes. So as the kickoff is now taken there by the Marist Brothers Rams, it should be taken in by
Gary Roberts. On to Lionel Johnson. Good run. Oh, they've got him down in field of play. Kyogle will want to push this further infield to get away from that touchline. Good run there by Aaron Avery.
And he's met there in the tackle there by the likes of that is Daryl Butcher as well as
Daryl Butcher and Jake Hoban.
So
Lachlan Crowder getting through, poked his head through.
And he's met there in the tackle with Matt Tickle as well. So there at least now a bit of urgency now for
very good play. Oh, unfortunately, Sam Saville with the mistake there. Very good work there by Jane Harley. He saw that the markers were cheating a bit and ducking off to the side, and he ducked in behind them. So very good work there, recognition there by Jaden. So that'll be something Marist will want to clean up if they want to maintain being in this game.
So this will be now Butcher in the tackle. So this was where a bit more intensity shown thus far by the Marist brothers round, but really they don't have any choice now at 22-6. They really need to start converting to points, and I think that's handed that back over. So that's exactly not going to help matters, or is it? I think they could be a knock-on against Kyogle.
There was cause from the Marist boys for a 6. Again, it looks like a scrum feed to Richard Fleming hasn't given us a definite. Gary Roberts has got the ball, and there we see the
so must
pointing to the Kyogle. So must have been a double knock on, and Gary Roberts was feed the scrum for Kyogle.
So this will be now taken about 20 metres out now from the Kyogle line. So there was another opportunity gone begging there for the Marist brothers Rams, because as I said, they pretty much got to play a perfect game from here on in.
You're down by 16 and you get down in the opponent's 20, you've got to be capitalising on that, because as we've seen the last couple of weeks, Kyogle have finished very strong in all their games. They put on 3 late tries against Northern, and then they also ran away with the game last week against Byron Bay.
And the Turkeys would definitely know that there, because they were on the happy ending of that. So
of both games. So you'd imagine that Marist brothers need to score more than the 16 points that they're currently trailing by if they want to get up and win this. So you don't want to be letting opportunities like they had earlier go. Good work there.
Nice red in defence there by, I believe that was Josh Patson, and well read in defence there by Josh Patson to take his opposite centre in the play. That's nice barraging run. He's getting slammed into the tackle there.
Yeah, I thought he lost it, and he has lost it. So
that was nice red in defence there by Paul O'Neill. Absolutely forced the error there for the Kyogle Turkeys.
That was the tackle he needed to make. Otherwise, Lionel was down one-on-one with the fullback, and I'd say Lionel's got a little bit of weight on Ty Murray, so
this will be now played by Slaven. So they're about 5 metres short of the halfway line. This is going to be
off
Butcher. He's met there by Blake Anderson in defence. This will be played by Slaven here on the second phase. 45 metres out from the Kyogle line. It's getting into the hands. I think that's Jake Hoban. Does well to get it inside the 40 of. Oh, okay. So that's going to be Slaven into the hands of Jacob Forland.
Might have to put up the rating check there after that play.
So that's Slaven on the short side. That's into the hands of Josh Patson. Patson goes himself. He beats another one. So close to the corner, but he's not quite.
Try-saving tackle there by Shannon Walker.
So this is Slaven now into the hands. Gets it in the hands now of
Forland. The fullback's gone.
Across the carpet, and it's well taken in defence.
Done. Great work there by Shannon Walker after making the try-scoring tackle in the corner to get back under the posts and save what looked like a very strong possibility for a try for the Marist brothers.
Well read in defence there by Shannon Walker to stop what for me would possibly an inevitable try there for the Marist brothers Rams, because there was no one else there going to be other than blue and yellow jerseys to take it. So, but nevertheless, it's going to be take 2 now for the Marist brothers Rams in the first 4 minutes in the second half. And at 16 points, and as we all know, we can say it's sort of the records are broken. That's 14 points or 16 points is not safe, because it can be taken in about 5 minutes. It was proven here about a few weeks ago. So, but it's going to make the most of the opportunities here. So this could be a potential. So this is going to be taken up there by Josh Patson.
Oh, Josh is all right. Yep, just bent back there a little bit, but no, he's fine. So got up and played it. This is fallen.
And
into Jensen.
That is big barraging run by Jensen.
And he's
gets the offload into the hands. That's into Jake Hoban. Goes himself, and it's
one-on-one by Jai Slater.
Nicely taken there by Jai Slater.
He's away.
Doesn't quite have the legs to get away there, Slater.
Paul O'Neill and Mitch Slaven there with the tackle.
So it's going to be
Lachlan Crowder running up.
Crunched in the tackle there by Butcher, and he had some help there, but I think that was Jake Hoban there. He had some help. Oh, sorry,
Joel Jensen.
Joel Jensen. Yep. So
Blake Anderson running up. Good to see Blake out there. He was under a bit of a fitness cloud. Got a little bit of a knock. He looked like he had 2 heads there at one stage with the big bubble on his head last week.
So inside 40, the kick. It's not going to quite make. Oh, it's gone over the head to Try Murray, but he'll collect it nevertheless.
Knocked backwards, of course.
Takes it about 20 metres out. He's going to be brought down there by Sam Nicholson on the first phase.
Yeah, I think Kyogle kicked a little bit early in the tackle count, just get it down the other end. Feel the play had been camped down in their half there for a little bit, so smart play to send it down the other end and make Marist work it back down into attacking position.
So basically, for me though, that's whilst Mitchell Slaven takes that up. So for me, what I see is Kygle's best defences come when they're not fully under pressure from inside their own half. So they want to get inside the Marist brothers' half, and then basically they're a lot more calmer in defence that I've noticed in the past few weeks of calling their game. So I think that's probably why they've gone for the early kick. So this will be now Slaven to take it about 40 metres out, brings it inside field, inside. Yeah, that's gone into the hands of Josh Patson. And we see why he's such a massive play there by Josh Patson.
That's 3 times they've found an edge there. Patson's broken it down.
There's numbers on the right here.
They've got to spread it. They've got to spread it.
Murray goes himself.
Oh, that is not very good. There's 3 standing out. You can't see it on your camera, guys, but there were 3 who would have gone untouched in the corner.
And I can second that. Try Murray. I don't know if he realised if he had numbers on his
Don't
right.
know if he saw that the overlap was that big.
That was points gone begging there for the Marist brothers Rams. So this will be Sam Nicholson to take it. And he'll be taking it 10 metres out from inside their own line. It's going to be played by Harley. And he's going to be
run there by Shannon Walker, getting the boys out of, getting Kyogle out of trouble.
That was Paul O'Neill there in the tackle. For me, probably been their best defender, Rob, for the Marist brothers. He's just always, he's not too far away in defence.
No, they probably really needed Paul, especially with, as you mentioned earlier, with Josh Petty being out.
Yep.
He offers that bit of experience because you do have a lot of young blokes there. There wouldn't be many other than probably Jake and Darryl Butcher that are under the age of 25 out there. So very good on both young sides, because Kyogle also a young side, with Gary Roberts probably the only one over 30 in the Kyogle side.
So this is 5th and last kick. Goes inside the field. It goes into the hands there of Jacob Forlans, and he'll be taken there just inside 40. And for me, you can't really see on the screen here, but the Kyogle Turkeys defence is just getting a little bit bunched. It's starting to spread out a bit more now. So I think Marist brothers have got to really start paying attention to the
Marist need to throw the ball around. They are chasing points, so they should be exploiting this. So looks like Kyogle are bunched up because Marist are bunched up. So Marist need to expand. Beautiful run there by
Slaven. Nice run by
he was nearly through, but Lachlan Crowder was able to hang on top of him.
So this will be now about 30 metres out now from the Kyogle line. Cut out pass into the hands of Patson, into the hands of, that is Haywood. And back in the hands of Patson. He's so close to the line, Patson. He looks good for Joshua Patson.
Got it down that time.
He was banging for that line all game. He's finally got paid dividends from it. And he's now bringing this back into a 2-try game. And now the score is now 22 points to 10 there. You can see on the Ladbrokes scoreboard. And that for me is why he's the feature player of the game for the Marist brothers.
We mentioned earlier that Josh was the key, and he has proven with the 3 line breaks. So to finally get the support, the give and the go, got it back, and then was able to avoid the tackle and used great strength there as Aaron Avian, I can't see who else was with him, tried to hold him up there right at the end. So very good for brothers, just the start they needed. It was probably getting to a desperate stage for brothers. They probably needed to score around this time. So
okay, so that's actually his 3rd try for the campaign. He scored on occasions against Coogin and Evans Head in this season. And for the 2018 season, he scored 11 tries. And I mentioned earlier in the coverage that if the Marist brothers are to get on with this, is we see the kick go over, and the kick's got a bit of length. It actually looks good. It is good. Well kicked
there by the halfback Jacob Follett.
That's now making the score 22 points to 12. So as you can see there on the scoreboard there, the Ladbrokes scoreboard. So I was just about to mention there, as I replayed this in the first half, it's that Josh Patson would be the man it's almost necessary that we'd have to score if Marist brothers to get the job done. As you said, he scored twice against Kyogle last year. He's also our current under 23s in the current campaign, I must say, for the Northern Rivers Titans. So, and the last name Patson, so he's got a Lily Patson in the, wouldn't say any relation?
Yes, younger sister.
Of course, okay. So as we're back now to live action, that was
nice
big.
Deep,
Nice
deep kick there.
And as you can see there, nice hard run there. So that's just
still
up.
Pushing in to make a few extra meters. Got that out past the 20, so good run back there.
So this
by Lockie Parrott.
That's Slaven plays it into the hands. It's well run in defence there by Jai Slater.
Lockie might be another one that they really need to lean on. Not sure about you, Dwayne, but I think Lockie was a little bit quiet for Lockie standards. Lockie's been a past rep player in the past, and he'd be a vital key cog. Nice play advancing in front of us here.
That's Evan Hawkins there. And for me, I also noticed, compared from 7 days ago, is Sam Nicholson's getting involved more, especially in defence. So for me, I thought he had just a little bit of a quiet game against Byron, but now he's starting to get more involved. And
penalty here.
So now this is potentially starting to get a little bit interesting now. So the brothers are getting their chances. So, and as I said, they really need to start kick-starting their season. If they can get some momentum heading into the month of July, I think they've got 4 games. I wouldn't say at home, because I think one of them is against Northern United, but they've got 4 games at Crozier Oval waiting for them between June and July. So it's going to be a busy month in Lismore, because I think they've got a similar schedule as well, Northern United. So that's Jake Hoban. So they're just getting so close to the line. So just for me, the Kyogle defence sort of gets a bit shaky when there's pressure put on them. Nice pass, and then it's gone into Jacob Rose. Jacob Rose now makes a game back on here in Kyogle, and there's 22 points to 16 with a kick to come to get an opportunity to get it within a try, and there's still plenty of time left in the second half.
Brilliant work there by number 7 there, Jacob Folland. Ran to the line and just a little hold-up ball, which Jacob Rose run a great line and straight in, probably adjacent to the post. And does it looks like someone might have said, had a bit of a chirp.
So this is definitely a very different team compared to the first half here for the Marist brothers Rams. So they got themselves right back into this contest. So we're going to be, this potentially could be tit for tat once again.
Coach Michael Woods would be very happy with the response from his players. He would have asked for a much improved effort, which he has received from his players. With a kick to come, and considering he kicked one from the sideline, you'd probably back him in to kick this one.
So Jacob Rose, for him too, is his third try in the 2019 campaign. He also scored a double against Evans Head, and he scored 3 tries last year. As we see the kick go over, and hang on, one flag's up, the other one's been waved.
But referee called it successful, so that will make it to 18.
Okay, so there we go. So 22 points to 18 here in New Park at Kyogle. Kyogle Turkey still with the slim advantage. So as I was just about to mention there, Rob, so Jacob Rose, he played from in that very successful Invincibles reserve grade team, scoring 3 tries. Also played a bit of rep footy for the East Coast Dolphins in 2013. So a bit of a campaigner there, Jacob Rose.
Yeah, Jakey, good to see him get an opportunity.
So as we're about to resume here, we're about 13 and a half minutes inside the second half, and Kyogle, they just need to break the route, so to speak. They've handed back to back tries.
Defensive effort. Last time they let them score, they let Marist brothers score, and then gave away a couple of little knick-knacky penalties that you don't need to be giving away. Piggyback them down the field.
So this will be Slave, and I think for me, he's basically been one of probably the biggest influence in this attack. He's just moved him around so impressively to go left, and then you'll probably see on this play here, he's got him set on the left here, but you can go right side play. So he goes left then right.
And
so
Turkey's coaching staff, I'd imagine, probably be a little bit disappointed with how.
And another penalty given. So they're starting to let a bit nervy leg there. They're just going to control the discipline a bit there, Rob.
But as I was mentioning there, Turkey's coaching staff would have to be disappointed with how much time and space Mitch Slavin's actually getting. I thought that was one of the keys to their victory last week. Andrew Batiste was given no time. They were all over him.
Yep.
And they limited his influence. But at the moment, Mitch Slavin's doing what he wants when he wants. So Kyogle, if they want to get back into this game, they've got to really nut him down and get back into this game.
So this will be now in the second phase. That's on
Blake O'Connor. Good tackle there by Dion and Lachlan Crowder.
So that's the best way to probably respond.
Josh Jensen.
So this is now Jacob Rose. He's just throwing himself there in the tackle there. He's going to be brought down there by the likes of Lachlan Crowder. So this will be our Slave, and gets it into the hands of Fallance. He had Try Murray in his left, but he's opts to go himself. He's got Paul O'Neill there. He's still got game still back on for Paul O'Neill.
Good grasping tackle there by Dion Bonchetti.
Probably about a second quick enough. It would have been a different story. Barraging run. He's slamming the door.
Lockie Perrin, they've held him up.
This is the fifth and last. They've got option of either side. This will be Slaven into the hands of Paul O'Neill. Kick across the carpet. And well responded in defence by the Kyogle Turkeys.
They'd probably want a better option than that.
And for me, I just think...
The pass out of dummy half was a little bit of a slow one. We've been talking up Mitch, but they were just a little bit slower, and Paul O'Neill had to wait for it. And then, of course, he was rushed a little bit on the kick.
So I think if the brothers had been about another half a second quicker with that pass into Paul O'Neill there,
yes.
Rob, would have been a different story.
It looked like he saw him, but didn't let it go, and then eventually let it go. If he let it go on the first offering, you'd imagine he would have went down in the corner.
Yeah, I think he
Not in the corner, under the post.
I think he was just caught in two minds there, and it just didn't eventuate. So that kick's just right on the 40-metre line. The kick should be greeted there by Try Murray. It's well taken, and he's had beat Sam Nicholson there. He should get about 20 metres on the fly there. He's going to be crunched in the tackle.
A little high.
Yeah, so that
is... A little high.
So...
Unfortunately, just slipped up on the back of his neck.
I think this discipline from Kyogle Turkey is starting to get a little bit worried.
I'd imagine the coaching bench should be getting a bit concerned.
This kick is just going to miss us. It's going to go right with it.
It's the other side of the main structure for those that have been to Kyogle.
And so Richard Fleming's called time.
He's just called time off.
Just to get it a bit restarted. So this is going to be Hawkins.
Evan Hawkins.
45 metres out from their own line. He's going to be brought in the tackle there by Bianchetti, and Jai Slater does well to get it right in the centre of the field. It's going to be Slaven into the hands now of Tickle. Gets it right onto the 40 on the second phase. This will be Slaven. He should opt for a left side play. Does so, gets in the hands of Follant.
Jensen's done a mountain of work considering that he did actually play in the reserve grade game. So
on double duty, a few players out there are doing that as such. So this is Follant into the hands. That's going into Jake Hoban.
He's probably outshone his more distinguished backmate, forward packmates, Joel. So congratulations, Joel, on a great effort so far.
O'Neill gets into the hands of Tickle. So despite being 4 points down here, this is going to get... Paul O'Neill.
Just held on.
You'd think this is the advantage for the brothers at the moment. This has just swung right back open. This is going to be a kick across the carpet. It's going to be taken there by Brock Westerman. And they've conceded another penalty. Kyogle Turkeys for offside.
Looks like he was playing advantage there.
Oh, jeez.
Because they looked all right. They looked all right in that play, but it might have been from a play or two before.
Kyogle just got to defend that set of six.
If you keep letting any side on your line, they're eventually going to score. So
they're just going to get to a set of six and just be able to defend one at the moment. That's the first thing they need to do for me. It's just
hold them out here and then work it out and play it down the Marist end.
Because their discipline is absolutely in tatters at the moment, the Kyogle Turkeys. This is going into the hands of Hoban.
Because this current half, we could have, on our left side, we could have had the sprinklers on that back side.
So they've got it. They go to the left side, gets in the hands of Paul O'Neill. Kind of just in two minds there, Paul O'Neill.
That play just broke down, just running on the wrong angle.
So this is now Slaven into the hands of Jensen.
Again.
Takes about 3 to 4 players to bring him down. And they're just shy of the line. I can see a deep side play. You can't really see on this side here, but there's a deep side play. It's gone to the Follant. And Follant goes himself. He's keen for a foot. I think Jacob Follant has just got over. He's potentially going to put the Marist brothers in front. And you wouldn't think so at 16 points down.
Looked like a try from here.
Jacob Follant likes it. And
talking to the touchdown.
He's talking there with Josh Gollan there on the sideline too. He's called a knock on. There you go. And you just think, though, that even despite that, the Marist brothers have got their tails up. We're about halfway through. We're in the latter half now. The sun ended the latter half, the second half. And Kyogle Turkeys have been, for me, let off the hook. And now they've just got to really clean up their discipline because they'll lose this game.
Very much so. So they just need a good workout centre six.
So this being a fifth and last, this will just be a play the ball, 10 minutes
from the 10.
From the 10. So
there's been a knock on just short of the goal. So Thomas McGrady coming in for a bit of work.
So McGrady does well to get it onto the 15. So that was well taken there by Paul O'Neill. He's been so impressive in attack and defence so far, Paul O'Neill.
Sam Saville with a good hit up there.
And even if Marist brothers was to fall short here, Rob, you think that they're finding, for me, that they're taking some more momentum into next week. And
We did watch it. I watched a little bit of the game just to see what they were like in the lead up of this week. I didn't watch the whole game, but I watched a little bit.
Was that in reference to the first game against Coogee?
No, their game last week.
Oh, right, okay. That's a nice splitting run. Gets it all. Jeez, Shannon Walker, hands on it, they're over. So he's still yet to complete a set of 6 for the majority of this half. And they've given another opportunity, and it should be another penalty, and it is.
Kyogle have got to be careful because continue holding down in the play of the ball. Won't be long before they'll be sitting someone down. So can't keep holding down in the play of the ball. So
Kyogle are basically inviting Marist Brothers into this game, and that was all just, for the exception of the first 10 minutes, it was all one-way Kyogle, but now it's a game on. It's game on, 100%. And so this will be Joshua Patson, the player on the first base.
And the run.
He's met there
by Tom.
His opposite number. So that crowd's starting to get up. As I said time and time again, this is the 18th man out there. And where the clubhouse is, it's probably not as many people as there was, say, last week. But
a few less than last week. There are quite a few people actually around us. Ooh. And there is a mistake.
So they'll hand this one back to the Turkeys. Let off the hook, so to speak. Trust you join the coverage wherever you may be watching. Of course, courtesy of Ladbrokes. As you can see there, the score is 22-18. Kyogle Turkey still in front. So head over to ladbrokes.com.au for all the latest betting action, or download the smartphone app and gamble responsibly. So this will be Blake Skinner now to play at about 30 metres out from the Kyogle, from their own line.
Brock Westerman with a run through. Nice metres there by Brock, getting it up closer to the 40.
So that gets in for the hand.
Thomas McGrady. See the outside backs getting in to do a bit of run. But when you've got as you can see, the size of some of these outside backs for the Kyogle side, just as big as some of their forwards are. And another great run there by Dion Bonchetti.
Yeah, so Marist Brothers, they are at home.
And great work there by Joe Olive.
So Marist
saw that there was no markers, and I think the crowd were a bit upset.
So can Joe Olive be able to do it 2 weeks in a row and actually get the attack necessary for them to well, they need to extend their lead.
Good tackle there by Evan Hawkins. It's very rare that if Sam Nicholson's one-on-one with someone, very rare that
Roberts sends that one up on the
very high.
Fifth and last. It's got snow on it, and that surely is going to be knocked on. And I think Richard
thought he wasn't going. Took a little bit while there to call that. Thought he wasn't going to call that.
So, as I was just about to say that, so Marist Brothers are indeed at home next week to Northern United in a Lismore Derby. So, you've got Lismore Derby next week, you've got Byron versus Ballina next week, you've got the Beef Week game as well. So, I'm just going to have a gaze and eyes through the draw. So, this is a bit of a Tweed Coast versus Coogee, and that's a bit of a
Northern State,
both
Northern clubs.
Exactly, and you've got Mullen versus Mooloolaba, that's also for the Grant Cook Cup. So, that's a bit of a theme to next weekend. So, for round 8. NRRRL action.
He's held onto it. Looked like that was a knock-on for all money, but about 3 juggles, and he eventually held onto it. So good work there by Joel, who's surely got to be tied. So he's played the whole about 60 minutes of this game, plus the majority of the reserve grade game.
So he's absolutely spilled that.
Marist Brothers need.
So that should, for me, be a double knock-on.
That'll be a double knock-on, which it is, and scrum will be set down with Kygle's loose out of feed at about the 40 by the looks. Yes, the 40.
So this is now an opportunity for Kyogle to, just to ease things up a bit. So as you well mentioned there, 16 points was not going to be enough. I mean, normally on paper you'd think it would be. It's weird how some games of football eventuate, because if you use last night's game example between the Broncos and the Roosters, you think Broncos trying to defend a 1-point lead. It's 1 point, and then they managed to win by 5. But I sort of had that vibe that the Broncos were going to hold it even at 5 points, and now you got it 16 points. I thought, well, you know what? I've been here about a month ago, and I didn't think it was going to be the case. So
yeah, I was sitting on the recorder table that night, and Kyogle made a mistake in that game, and I thought they'd blown their chance. But then they did score they scored 16 points in 7 minutes.
So this is Joe Olive.
Skinner to Roberts. Bit of space.
Yeah,
Jensen's held up, but he's got it away.
So the Skinner cut out pass, and that's going to be Thomas McGrady.
McGrady's in.
Thomas McGrady is going to potentially be the saviour here once again for the Kyogle Turkeys. And Or will it? Yes, it is. 26 points for 18. And they've just got themselves a little bit of a cushion now, the Kyogle Turkeys, after just being on the back foot for the first portion of this second half.
And that's what Kyogle needed to get themselves back in. Oh, someone in the crowd.
Yeah, so there's a bit of afters here from... And so is that McGrady's...
That's his second try for today.
Yeah, so he's got himself a deuces, and that's his second lot of second tries too, because he scored 2 against Evans Head as well, as we mentioned, that 1 try against Northern United. He also was a Casino and Clarence Coast Junior as well, worth mentioning.
Yeah, he's played for a couple of sides, and then he's also had a bit of experience.
Did he play down in Penrith?
Down with Mounties.
Yeah, Mounties. He played a bit of, I've got here in my notes, he played a bit of SG ball for the Bulldogs.
Bit of SG ball?
Yeah, and he was a South Grafton Rebel as well in 2016, both at under 18s and A grade level, and he also played for the East Coast Dolphins. And yeah, so Mounties, and also he was a West Newcastle junior as well, played schoolboys for Newcastle, schoolboys under the 15s as well. So he's got a bit of a resume there, Thomas McGrady, and you can see there it all adds up on the live stream with that impressive attacking play. So the crowd's getting a bit vocal on both sides there, bro.
Yeah, it looks like they've had trouble with a bloke on the other side.
And he'll be escorted out of the ground. And as we now get back in... Okay. So this will be now taken about 40 metres straight up. Sorry, Rob. That's a very similar kick that Gary Roberts is about to take, where got basically, I mean, I wouldn't say won the game, but it was basically copped them in the game against Northern United.
It made the last kick irrelevant.
Yeah, that's exactly. Well, that's true.
But we call this one, we should be able to kick this one. We call this one here at Kyogle the training kick.
The training kick,
because a lot of the boys park their car around there, and that's where you come down those steps where that bench is. Okay. To walk onto the training paddock of a Tuesday and Thursday night. Okay. And before training, they're always mucking around thinking they're superstar goal kickers.
And do they have the sun in the face like we saw here a couple of Sundays back?
Not generally, because they start training around 6 o'clock, so about the same time as game time. So lights are on, but yeah, the training kick. This one is.
And how do you train it to kick in the sun though? How would, because surely that had to be trained, where they're kicking into the sun.
No, like this actual drop goal kick.
Okay, yep.
They kick this one at training, and watching there the other night, quite a few of the young 18s boys, you wouldn't hope you'd have the game on their shoulders, because they weren't very good at this kick.
And I think the last time we checked the temperature there is 16 degrees, but you can't obviously see what I'm doing at the moment, but I'm actually breathing out mist. So
and you can just start to see
16 degrees, nah.
Kick away. Conversion unsuccessful.
Just unsuccessful in that case.
You can see, just can start where a very good, probably eye level is right at the ground where we're sitting at the moment, and you can just start to see a little bit of juice setting in. So it is starting to get a little bit cold here. Starting to regret not wearing shoes and socks. So the toes are starting to get a little bit cold.
There. So we're just under 16 degrees here in Kyogle, and so as we get back into live action, what has happened there? So
I think by the looks of it, Aaron Avery's just saved it from going out.
Well played there by Aaron Avery. So we're just approaching the last 10 minutes of this game. So Kyogle have just got out of turbulence there. So, or have they? Are they handed that? No.
That looks like a knock on.
Knock on. So bit of commentators curse on my part said they got out of turbulence, but they're not going to be ahead of this one just yet.
Communication there. The pass came from, not sure, dummy half or the halfback, and no one was there to run onto it. It just hit the open space.
So we're about 10 minutes and change left. So Marist brothers, they've got a perfect opportunity to make this a game again, but they've got to really make the most of these opportunities, because they're not going to get too many.
No, you'd like to think. And as we've mentioned, you don't want to be wasting opportunities down this up. Good line run there. Is that Josh Patson?
That is Josh Patson, one of the try scorers from earlier. So they'll need a bit more magic from him, though, to if the Marist brothers are hard to get up. So this is going to be Slaven into the hands now of Jacob Follen on the second phase. Oh, he had the numbers on the right there, Rob, and I just thought if he's just going to get...
Just looked like the lead runner, just got in the road a little bit there, so...
Lost about 15 metres there for his trouble, so this is going to be Paul O'Neill back into the hands of Matt Tickle.
Matt Tickle, solid first contact there by Jai Slater.
So they go on the right side there for me.
With Evan Hawkins.
So that's Hawkins. He's brought down his opposite number there, Sam Nicholson. And this will be on the fourth phase. I see the likes of Hanaway there on the left side, looking for work. It's not going to get there. So
Slaven covered. Marcus has gone into dummy half. This is the last.
So this is Paul O'Neill. And he's spilt the lollies there, Paul O'Neill, and he knows it too.
Needed a quicker decision than that. He just took too long. He wasn't sure whether to send it out the back line or to put the kick through, or what type of kick that is, and just dropped it.
So now the
big let off there for Kyogle, because nothing worse than just a little suicide ball kick.
So this will be a very important set of six now for the Kyogle Turkeys to just play out a set of six now. So they've done what they need to do. They just need to get outside of a one-score lead, and this is Brock Westerman. Nice little hit and spin there. And Brock Westerman, I've said it in a few calls, and I think I might have even said it when he was playing in the Rets for Northern Rivers Titans.
Got up limping. Hopefully he's okay.
He just reminds me a lot of Corey Oates. He's just one of those big wingers.
Big size.
In big wing. He was standing just here, right in front of our commentary box here, and he was basically...
Good work by Joe Oliver out of dummy half there. Just take a little bit of ease off, because last couple of tackles, the forwards, the momentum had been stopped.
So the brothers there have done well to just keep him inside their own half. A nice little kick over the heads. They are chasers, and that's going to be spilt there by Marist brothers. And I wouldn't be surprised he's not going to be called knock on.
No, it all went back, and he just ruled it. Luckily for Marist brothers, Kyogle boys overran it. So that's Marcus Hanaway in there getting tackled, helping out the forwards.
That was Dion Bianchetti as well, getting involved in defence.
Dion and Blake.
So it's going to be taken there on the third play, just outside of 40.
Run there by Matt Tickle, I'm guessing. Yep, the 12.
So this will now be played now by Mitch Slaven on the short side. Gets it into Folland. Oh, well.
That's got to be a knock-on, I'd imagine.
No, it's been called back. Well, let's see what Richard Fleming has called here. Now, I just thought for me they panicked a bit in attack. I don't think the pass was necessary.
I'd imagine that being a knock-on. I didn't have a look. Why... The player is currently down.
I think he just panicked there in attack. I just think, I really didn't think that was.
Might be Evan Hawkins on the ground, is it? Or
he's just that's Mitch Slaven. Big loss if there's anything major for Mitch Slaven. I think he might have just been knocked, and you can't see it here, but Rich Fleming and Josh Gollan there are just having a bit of a
chat. You can see it right on the edge of the screen, just finding out what went on.
Well, it's good to see that Mitch Slaven will get back on his feet. They can't expect, they can't have him out for next week. So both of the captains there are just going to get
just
a bit of a
chat to both the captains about what's going on here.
So let's see what comes out of this. And whilst we're doing that, we want to thank our sponsors once again, Ladbrokes. Ladbrokes.com.au for all your latest betting action. As you can see there on the scoreboard there, 26 points to 18. Kyogle Turkeys just got the advantage, so they've handed this one. So
they've come along with a knock-on. So fortunate there for Kyogle, just a push past there by Marist brothers.
So you'd think one more try here. We're at about 6 minutes left to go here.
Got the official game clock in front of me. We're about 10 minutes to go.
Oh, okay.
Couple with getting rid of the spectator and a couple other stoppages. So.
Sure. Okay. So. In previous games that we've called, I've done about 6 now. So it's we'd kill to have a clock. We've got the official time score sitting right next to us. So when you ask, you shall receive.
Once again, Aaron Avery playing well above his weight.
So this is going to be taken up there by
Bianchetti.
Bianchetti does well to get about 5-10 metres there. So this is going to be taken up there by Lachlan Crowther, and he's going to be met there by Jack Hoban. So this is going to be now about 20 metres away from the Marist brothers line. Gets into Skinner. Skinner, he's absolutely crunched in the tackle there.
Lockie Perrin rushed up.
Lockie Perrin.
I think he had to make that tackle.
Like a bull to gate there, Lockie Perrin. So this is, he's gone for seconds there, Lockie Perrin. He goes into the hands. I think that's gone into.
He's
handed that. That was a bit of a Christmas present of a pass there from the Kyogle Turkeys into the hands of Jack Hoban.
Passed it straight into Jack Hoban's hands.
So
And good run there by Marcus. Good to see Marcus coming back after a shaky start there with those early 2 drops from the bombs. But he's been a very strong contributor these last ever since.
And it's now that the moon's fully gone up here, I'm just wondering why we don't see any stars out here in Kyogle. Was there a reason for that? It's clear as a day.
Yeah.
We noticed that last week too.
Astronomy's quite out of my expertise, but yeah,
No stars to be seen.
whether it's just because of the cold and the dew and the frost setting.
Yeah, well, that's true. So this is going to be well collected there by Gary Roberts. So this will be, whereabouts? We're about 45 metres out for the Marist brothers line. It's going to be well taken in the tackle there by Joshua Patson.
I'm not sure how the weather was anywhere else today, but I was on the golf course earlier today, and
Byron Bay was pretty fine.
the fog was still foggy at about 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it was
9:30, 10 o'clock. There was still fog in the air, so very difficult to track the golf ball.
Yeah, so it would have been a bit quiet with everyone going out to vote. I'm noticing on the drive between Byron and out to here, I saw about 20 different polling booths. So, and all the election posters, which will be confetti by the end of tomorrow. So, so this will be now Joe Olive. Let's see what Joe Olive can do here. He's always dangerous within 10 metres out, as I noticed from 7 days previous.
Right.
And nice hit and spin down. It's going to be Blake Anderson.
Right, Blake Anderson.
Blake Anderson, and I just had that feel. Oh, is he short?
No, short.
He's short, Blake Anderson. No. Surely he should be allowed to replay that.
Something's got to go on.
Well, so he's called a knock on.
Had to be a knock on, I'd imagine, after that first try was disallowed. I know we are far away, but it looked pretty good from our angle.
Blake Anderson, your 4-4 money was about to get over. And so this is going to be
scrum down, looks about on the 10.
And I just want to mention, I was saying on, I think it was on Instagram or something before, I was saying that this will be my 3rd time here in 4 weeks, and I was here 7 days ago. I should have just pitched the 10 for the week.
Yeah.
And I just had actually one of my work colleagues just comment, say that I'm going to have a rooftop camper coming to me. So he says he's going to sell it to me, but I mean, hey, if we can get a bit of a fundraiser to get me to live out here to be here more often, then hey, I'll take a rooftop camper any day.
You'll be able to guard your statue.
As we get back to the serious stuff now, this is Mitch Slavin. No, that's the Shannon Walker statue. Right? So this will be 40 metres out. Kick across, and then he's got numbers on the right here. He should go himself. He's got. Oh, Hanaway has absolutely spilt that. And the crowd knows it too. They've gone absolutely vocal here just behind us. And they knew that was very crucial too, because
very strong defence there by Brock Westerman.
Because he had Evan Hawkins, Marcus Hanaway had Evan Hawkins.
Marcus just had to draw Brock, and it would have been Evan and Shannon 1-on-1. And you'd back the attacker every time against the defender. No matter how good the defender is, you'd always back the attacker 1-on-1.
So this will be now smack bang on the 40 now for the Kyogle Turkeys from their own line. This is going to be played now by Blake Skinner. And they just know that one more try, and then they'll go into, 5 straight?
It will be 5 straight after the early. And it's been a good, in that game against Byron Bay, in Ballina in round 1, they came back from, they were down 28-0 at half time. So to lose only 14-18, so they've played great football except for the first 40 minutes of the season.
And you feel that, just from that, when they had to come back from 14 points against Northern United, I think that was that for me was the turning point of the season. It had to be. That just put them on that much of a high, and they're still running on the fuel from that.
And
high
today was a big danger game as well, big high last week, upsetting because Byron Bay, despite having a couple out, are still a very good side and would be.
They've got a task tomorrow against Moreland too.
Amongst the terrible bounce, but Chris King was there to swoop it up.
So that is, I think he's on.
Good tackle there by Lachlan Crowder on Chris King.
So that is Chris King. He's played a bit of footy there for Byron Bay as well. He's known as GI. Oh, that was a little bit over the neck.
Just slipped up.
Yeah, so Chris King, he's known as GI back in his Byron Bay playing days. So, I was about to mention Byron Bay. That was probably one loss they didn't need to have last week, because they've got Moreland Bar and Ballina to follow in previous weeks. And And then after that, they've got Marist brothers at home, which will be the next home games because they've got a few on the road. So if they play like
Marist keep improving
this,
like we've seen today,
Byron could be in a bit of strife.
Yeah. And they're already outside of the top 5.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be giving sides, because Ballina look very strong, Wollongbar look very strong, Tweed Coast, the defending champions.
Yeah, the made you wonder. That's like,
and then also, as much as it pains me to say it, Casino are playing very good football at the moment.
Well,
it makes it very, very hard for me to say that.
And it was in that round. It was that round when we were here for that Northern United game, and when they come from 14 points down on 3 occasions. It was actually the other way for Byron. So that was like a bizarro world. They were 26 points to 10 with 10 minutes to go against Coogin, and then they didn't lose. It was a draw. It was on the last kick of the game. So that was their turning point going the other way, because really
they have struggled since.
And then when they played Mullumbimby, they were winning 16-0. And so it's like they could have only had the one loss themselves, and it's just really turned for them.
Last week was very close until probably the last 10, 15 minutes where the Turkeys did run away with it.
You've got to make the most of your opportunities in this NRRRL competition, because otherwise it's just going to fall away. So
rushed up, but good tackle there by Josh Patson to close it down. Was that the last?
Yes, I believe so.
Bit of a mistake there by the Turkeys not to put on a bit better finishing play than that.
So we're now in the final minutes here at New Park and Kyogle. So Kyogle should be in the box seat.
Got 4.5 minutes officially.
And one try will definitely should do it for him. So we're there.
But this is nearly a must score set for Byron Bay.
Sorry, Marist brothers.
Marist brothers, sorry. We were just talking about,
of course,
Byron. So we apologise to Marist brothers and their fans for getting confused. Ooh, a little high.
So that was Josh Patson.
No call from the ref.
So there's a nice little dummy run there by Mitch Slavin
on to Chris King. Oh, that's not what they need.
So he's handed that one back straight into the hands of Sam Saville, but then
bit of a lot of errors there. So we've got stoppage. We've got someone down. I think Mitch Slavin might be down again.
Now I think Josh Golan's about to come onto the field. He's seen something
coming in.
He's well, let's see what comes out of this. So
did look like that Mitch might have copped a little bit of a whack just as he let go of the ball on that short side race.
He was a little bit
Chris King, and it does look like he's holding his rib, so it does look like he's copped a bit of a whack into the ridge.
They cannot
afford that with 4 minutes to go.
And they can't. I was just about to say they cannot not have him out there for that game against Northern United next week.
No, so you hope that it's just a bit winded.
And I think he's gonna get up for a second time.
Maybe a penalty here, judging by the call there from Richard Fleming. Just looked like he was doing a bit of a wrap-around motion, which generally means taken off without the ball. So, and they are. Jacob Follett does have the ball, so it looks like this will be a penalty to Marist brothers. But unfortunately, it does look like Mitchell is heading off.
So with about 3 minutes and change left in the second half, it's basically, well, it's getting to the point now they'll have 2 plays at most for Marist brothers. So
2 sets and they need 2 tries. So
it's got to come from this. It has to.
Telling you how important that it is that they score this set.
So this is.
You'd imagine from what we've seen that probably Josh Patson's probably the go down that left side. You can imagine he's been dangerous all this half.
So this would be Jacob Follen on the first phase.
Follen, you're probably not the bloke that you want taking the first hit up. You don't want your halfback doing that.
So this is going to be played here into the hands of, that is Butcher.
Butcher onto Perrin.
Lockie Perrin does well to get about 15 metres onto the 15 metres. This is going to now play it on this third phase into the hands of Paul O'Neill, the captain. Into the hands of Troy Murray. Oh, he's spilt that. That's probably...
That's going to be...
Good night, Irene.
It's going to be very tough. It's not over till it's over, but it is going to be very tough from there.
So, and for me, they crowd are calling there for a penalty, so for holding on to a bit too long.
It looked like he was in the play the ball a little bit there, but they'll keep working it out.
And so in this case, they have conceded the penalty, and...
the first one was a bit iffy, but definitely he was laying around again in the second one, and generally the refs don't miss it 2 times in a row.
So this will be now, this kick should should potentially go onto the halfway line for the Kyogle Turkeys. And it's even going to go further than that. It's going to go now 40 metres away from the Marist brothers line. And can the Turkeys just take one more try into next week? Of course, it's all just about for and against at this stage. That's like Joe Olive to play on the first base in the hands of Dion Banchetti. So they're about 35 metres out now from the Marist brothers line. And Daryl Butcher there is
holding again. They can't afford. They need Kyogle to be playing quick play the balls because, as we mentioned, they are very short on time. One-on-one strip. So it's perfect what they need.
So they've handed that one back to the Marist brothers. This will be Try Murray there to play it.
Try Murray in at dummy half.
And Try Murray, he's probably one of their best attackers there for the Marist brothers. I recall from last year.
It does look like he is. Unfortunately, we haven't seen it from Marist brothers tonight, but just judging by the way that he moves, does look like he could be very fleet-footed.
You'd bank on him to get on the points sheet in tonight's game.
He's the type of player that they probably need because they need to score and then probably not even kick the goal because 100%. We are that short of time.
So, yeah, it's basically just going to be thank you, good night, literally, for the Marist. It is near
impossible for Marist brothers to get from here. They must score right here if Shannon Walker does what he has done. I think that may be the final nail in the coffin for Marist brothers, unfortunately.
So, and they've given away the penalty, just a
bit of a silly penalty.
Insult to injury. They protested to have a player sent to the bin.
Bit of a penalty out of frustration, I think. Just things haven't quite gone Marist's way today.
So this is going to be should be Gary Roberts. I think they're not really looking for any urgency. No. They just want to get back to the sheds and where the
looks a bit fingerly, fumbly there.
And it's starting to get as you can probably see there, it's starting to get a little bit misty on the screen there. So I think as you can see there, the temperature's dropping by the degree by the minute.
15 and a half.
Yeah, so 26-18, you can see on the Ladbrokes scoreboard and the dying stages of this.
And the grass is extremely dewy at the moment, so you can forgive some of these handling errors.
And so, as it's going to be taken up there on the 40 metres. And there shouldn't be any more action after this. This should definitely be the last play of action. This is going to be taken up there by, who is that? That's going to be Thomas O'Grady. This should be it. This should be definitely the last play. And to the approval of the crowd here at New Park, they're now on a 5-game winning streak. And that is going to be all she wrote here at New Park. Marist brothers were brave and they put on an impressive second half performance, but it's not going to be enough on this occasion there, Rob.
No, unfortunately, Marist just missed that little bit tonight. Just that, you could just see they fought and battled as hard as they could. Just unfortunately, just that little bit of class and a couple of errors at key moments. Those couple of early drops and then a couple when they were attacking, just a couple of little knock-ons. And they just couldn't capitalise on the good field position because they probably had the better of the field position and were able to close up. But once they got to 18, they didn't look like they were probably going to score again. Which is unfortunate for Marist brothers.
For me, I think the man in the match for the Kyogle Turkeys, I believe you'd have to give it to, Sam Nicholson got more involved this week as well. So I think Thomas McGrady, for me, had to be the man.
With 2 tries.
2 tries, I think Tom McGrady. And
2 tries is the difference in the score. So
and for me, if you have to go on a 3-2-1, I'd actually give Joshua Patterson number 2 because I just think
Josh was the key for Marist. Without Josh,
they wouldn't have got to this point of the game.
We wouldn't have been worried in the last 5.
Yeah,
we wouldn't have been talking about it this being a game in the last 5 minutes.
So
and then probably you won. Maybe Brock Westerman had a good game out on the wing. He was safe.
I'd say fair enough.
Made a few damaging runs and just unfortunately for Marcus, when you look at someone that size running at you, it does get you.
And I think Joe Olive, once again when he came on, I think it's sort of a bit of a different phase this week. So he got the points for the Kyogle Turkey, or helped him get the points. I think he basically just chilled out the attack and defence. This case, I think once he came on, he got the players moving and got the ball control right, and I think that was probably what also just made it more pivotal in the game for the Turkeys.
Yeah, it's a very good win for Kyogle, and as you said, makes it 5 in a row. Been probably since their last trip into the final as many 2014, I think that was.
That's right, and that was the first. Yeah, that was the first win against these two for Kyogle against Marist brothers since 2014 when he's made the final. So possibly a good omen.
Very good omen, hopefully. So hopefully it continues from a Kyogle perspective. But Marist brothers, they should take a lot out of this game.
And yeah, well, most certainly because they were been on the back foot in the last few rounds. So they'll take some momentum.
They had a difficult weekend last weekend against
Ballina.
Ballina. So to come back and play a side that is equal with Ballina on points, so to run them close, you'd have to be very happy if you're Michael Woods and your guys. So, so it'd be a really good matchup because Northern United are starting to come good after those couple of heartbreaking losses. So
that's right.
That'll be a good matchup next week. And then, of course, it doesn't matter where Kyogle and Casino are on the table. At the moment, they're 3rd and 4th with Casino to play tomorrow.
Yep.
So just might add a little bit extra to what will be a great clash next Sunday.
Robert, it's an absolute pleasure having you as a late substitute into the box for this weekend, and best of luck to the Turkeys heading into next week at the Beef Week.
Thank you, Dwayne, and great to be able to call the game from a different angle. That's outstanding.
That's it. So, as you can see there, it's full time here at New Park for round 7 of NRRRL action. It is the Kyogle Turkeys 26 over the Marist Brothers Rams 18. For all the team here of MGM Sports and the crew from the NRRRL, for Rob Lyon, I'm Dwayne Neville. Absolute pleasure of having another game out here under lights. We'll be back for more action next week for round 8 of action in the NRRRL. Have a good evening, folks, and enjoy your night.